I just want to speak on the main difference between embroidery machines, and I'm using sewing machines to show you that main difference. Okay, here you have these little desktop commercial. They say they heavy duty, um, and maybe they are, but not what you thinking. They ain't finna go through a whole bunch of leather, and they ain't finna go through, 7, 8 layers of designs of fabric. All right, it's very it's limited, and it may say that it's faster. Okay, it may say that it's faster. I got another machine around here. No, I got it in my storage, but I got about four different sewing machines, and then you have an industrial machine. See, you got commercial, or you got domestic, or commercial or home base, and then you have industrial. Okay, you got industrial machines that work in factories. Like this machine here was for a factory in the 70s, 60s. Okay. And this machine still This machine is quieter. This machine is quieter than these machines. All right, this machine is quieter. Also we got a blind stitch and an overlock over there. A blind stitch and an overlock, which I still got to figure out how to get those together. But I did figure this one out. And you see here, you got the thread, you got the path coming to the thread. If you got an embroidery machine, you know what's going on. Okay, you got to go through this little thing here. You got to go, and then you got a tension knob. All right, you got a tension knob. It's just like an embroidery machine. I don't have a lot of light down here, but I'm gonna show y'all the main difference between this and this. And this is the same thing with embroidery machines. Let me show you guys that. You see that? That's a motor. So when you talking about what's the difference between these different machines, why this one costs this and why this one costs this, or why people talking bad about this one and why people talking bad about this one, because of the motor. The motor. All right. So if you got a Chinese machine, you got a machine made in China, guess what? You're going to have a Chinese motor in your embroidery machine. All right. And this is the main difference between these machines. Is it from Japan? And this is a German machine. All right. German, they got a certain reverence for their motors, even in their cars. And it used to be the same. I done seen Toyota embroidery machines. So that's what you're dealing with. Do you want a Chinese motor? Do you want a German motor? Do you want a Japanese motor? That was the main thing they was telling me. They was like, man, the main difference is the motor and how the motor will run, and the motor will go faster. And so when they said, okay, well, this thing can go up to this, it's the motor that makes it go that fast, and still be able to stitch and be strong enough to stitch and quick enough to where those threads don't break, and it can still run smoothly. And also, how that needle bar coming down, that little needle arm bar coming down fast enough, or being low enough where it can do that and keep up with that speed. You got machines that are going up to 2,000. I just did a video seeing like a 10 head machine going 1,700. But that's what it's mostly about, y'all. All that other stuff on top, and these folks telling you this and that, What motor? What motor do you have? And so when you go to Alibaba, all those motors are Chinese. All of them are Chinese. You dealing with a lot of these machines, Racoma, if it say made in China on the back of it, it's a Chinese motor. It is a Chinese motor. Now, you can change these motors out. You can change these motors out. Okay? You can do that. And I'm sure you can do it on a darn embroidery machine. I'm sure you can open that thing up and switch that motor out pretty simply. It's pretty easy. It's just we scared. We scared of doing that. We scared of messing with them belts and so forth. And I wouldn't advise nobody to do it. But I'm sure you can, and you can increase the production of that machine just by increasing that darn, just by putting a stronger motor in there where that machine could run a little better. But these things are electronic and they're run. It's electronic and they're run by that computer. So it probably wouldn't. You could probably get it in there, but it probably wouldn't. It'll just have the motor in there. You probably couldn't change. You have to reprogram that software, and that's probably it. You probably have to reprogram that software. You may not need a different computer chip, main board, but you probably could just reprogram that software, and it probably could make that new make that thing run a little better. And that's a great idea, man. You know what I'm saying? That's a great idea to get these machines and put better motors in them. But ain't nothing wrong with these machines, man. They gonna do what you need them to do, all right, for the most part. It ain't really nothing I ain't been able to tackle with these things for the most part. But if you're trying to do something, like you're trying to run 10 pair of shoes on these machines and thinking you may get yourself into some mess, man. Maybe one or two, but you trying to run 10 to 20. I'm gonna run 10 to 20 pair of shoes on these machines, man. You might run into some issues. But that's the main difference, y'all. It's just that motor. Let me see if I can let y'all hear how this thing sounds. Hold on. Now, I want you to understand that this thing is close to 70 years old. I mean, this thing is from the 60s, 70s. Y'all hear that? So now we got the motor on. We can hit the pedal. See? You're gonna go a lot faster also. And that's what I'm saying. This is where you're gonna get your speed. All that comes from the motor. Go back. Lift them up. You can lift them up here with this leg brush. Boom. See that? And lift them up like that. Oh man, that's cool. And this is why you'll have to get these certain things, man. And look like the thread came up. But y'all get the point. Alright, it's the motor, y'all. That's the main difference. Don't go and and jump down on it could do this and it could do this, and we be arguing back and forth about which is better and da 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 da. It's the motor. Where did that motor come from? And that's the main difference. Alright. The other stuff is cosmetic for the most part. It's not the strength of the machine. And then who has a lasting longest motor? That's another issue. Who has a lasting longest motor? This motor over 30 years old. This motor is over 30 years old. So, all right. I'll see y'all on the next one.